What's up, everyone? I'm Grizz, and today I am here for Anime Awards. A little different than what I usually do with normal reactions. Anime Trending has opened up the voting for the awards for the 2022 anime. I think they consider it 2023 because that's when they do the award show, but for 2022. And I thought it'd be fun to just come on here, give my opinions, and make some votes. I've always really been into just kind of awards like that and numbers and voting and weird stuff like that. So I figured, might as well come on here and just give my takes and opinions on these. As a disclaimer, I have not seen everything that's on here. So some of the things I might be voting for are strictly based off of the fact that I haven't seen everything on here. But I did watch a little over 40 different anime from this last year and then a couple different movies. As always, these are my opinions. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know what you would vote for in each of these categories as well. I tend to enjoy doing the anime trending one a lot more than like Crunchyroll because the Crunchyroll awards are usually not very good. The nominations are usually very poor, and I think Anime Trends does a really good job, especially as opposed to someone like Anime Corner, who I feel has very strong bias towards like action shonen. Anime Trends has like a good backtrack of different animes winning in different genres each year. Like last year, I think Fruits Basket was anime of the year for them, and there's just been years where action stuff is won and slice of life stuff is won and just things from all different genres. So despite there still being some sort of bias, of course, as there is with everything, I think this is the most fair one that is out there. Starting off, we're going to do the award for best in adapted screenplay. The only ones on here that I have not seen are Ranking of Kings, Sasaki and Miyano, and Made in Abyss. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this award, and if I am, somebody can let me know, and this might happen with a couple of the other ones that I'm pretty sure there are. But in my head, and the way I view it, adapted screenplay is the ability to take what was in its source material and elevate it to another level when you adapt it, and not just keep it the same, not just doing a faithful adaptation, but actually elevating it and making the screenplay in which you're watching feel elevated and feel different than the actual source material that you're reading, but not so different that the story itself changes, but just the whole experience and vibe that you can get, Ken. So this is overall hard for me to do because I haven't read the manga or anything for any of these shows, so I don't really know how to go about this. But if I were to make my best guess based off the things I know, I'm going to cast two votes, one being for Bocchi the Rock and the second Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. Bocchi the Rock specifically being a 4-koma manga is very difficult to adapt, but the ability for them to add in their own original content and really just elevate, bring characters to life, add in their own references, and to make for just hilarious moments is something that was very special and an experience that you truly couldn't get from reading source material. And same thing with Mob Psycho 100, where I haven't read it, but I have seen manga panels and comparisons of certain scenes throughout the years of it, and I know the same thing happened here with season 3, where they take some very simplistic moments in the manga and really turn them into something special when they animate it. So I'm going to end up casting my two votes for those. Next award is going to be for Best in Animation. I've seen everything on here but Futo P, I don't know. I don't even know what that is, so that will not be getting my vote. And this one's very hard to do. A lot of Cloverwork shows, it looks like, with Bocchi the Rock, Akebi, and Spy Family, and My Dress Up Darling. Couple A1 pictures, so a couple different ones. I'm in, I believe, the unpopular camp of thinking that Princess Connect Redive is one of the best animated shows ever, purely based on animation. It's kind of unreal and has no business being animated as well as it is, but it just is, and it's gorgeous. And for that reason, it will be getting my first of the two votes. I'm not one who truly understands the difference between, I guess, just general art and animation and everything, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. So this award is just strictly based off the things that I think come out the most visually appealing, and just watching it, what was smooth and stuff like that, if any of that makes sense. And for that reason, I'm just going to give my second one to My Dress Up Darling. There were just some really good moments and things that stand out to me about how well it was animated, specifically that whole scene where they were at the beach. Our third award is Best in Character Design. As I said with the first one, maybe my idea of what character design isn't the same as someone else's, and I don't see anywhere here that specifically states what I'm looking for. But when I do this, I think about the most unique character designs. things that make the characters pop, things that I also enjoy a lot where I don't know if this would be even considered character design, but I think it is. The ability to change the things in which like a character wears when they change outfits or they don't have the same thing on all the time, because it actually adds an extra layer to the design and make some of them pop a little bit more. I've seen everything on here but Shadow's House Season 2 and Urusei Yatsura and Ranking of Kings. My first vote, which I think deserves to win this, is going to be Licorice Recoil. The first thing I thought of when I saw the trailer or the promotional image, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but back early last year when I saw that for the first time, and I got immediately excited because I thought it was going to be really good, strictly based on what I was looking at, and that was because the characters really stood out to me. The designs of them was unique and different to me. Maybe it was just the colors or I don't know what it was, but it was special to me. I love the fact that Chisato and Takina change outfits and wear different things every single episode. Yeah, they have their normal uniforms, but when they go out, they're not wearing that at all times. I love the designs of characters in something like The Witch from Mercury, but the only issue I have with that goes against my main point and what I like so much about Licorice Recoil is the fact that they're all constantly wearing the same outfits. So the only real uniqueness about them is color of skin and design of hair. And to me, that's just not that interesting. And then that also goes against it with something like your boy Kung Ming, where they wear the same things every time. And they are uniquely designed, though. So I will give them that. Everything about them and their outfits and their fashion choices and stuff are all very unique. And overall, the second one here is a little bit more difficult for me to choose. I think in purely just design of characters, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is probably the best choice, second best choice tier. But because of how my feelings of outfits that are different and being able to constantly show uniqueness and not have to just stick to one thing the whole time, I'm gonna go with My Dress Up Darling as my second choice, which I can understand maybe not being that popular of a choice. But all the characters did have their own unique and distinct thing about them, and they all did have different fashion choices constantly and the things that they were wearing and what was going on. It's a show about fashion basically to begin with, so this is an award that I do think is either going to go to Licorice Recoil or Cyberpunk, though, and I wouldn't be upset with either of them. Next up is Best in Original Screenplay. I have not seen most of these, actually. The only ones I have seen is Akiba Maid War, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I only watched one episode of Engage Kiss. I did not enjoy it. Licorice Recoil, and Witch from Mercury. In terms of the ones that I thought was the best, it's not much that I have to go into. I think Licorice Recoil is the best one out of all of these here. I think the second best was Witch from Mercury. Simple for me is that. I think Akiba Maid War makes a close second for me, and I didn't like Cyberpunk as much as other people did, especially the back end. The next award will be for Best in Scenarios and Visuals. While some of these do have really good visuals and like backgrounds and stuff like that, the two that immediately jump out to me as like noticeable or I can remember stuff specifically from them are one, Call of the Night, and two, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I love things like Bocchi the Rock and the backgrounds that they use where I'm pretty sure they're almost all just real and drawn over, and they do look really good. But to me, the two that just stand out to me every time I think about different visuals and scenes from these shows is these two. Especially Call of the Night with that sky and the nightlife that they have, and same thing with Cyberpunk with just the general nightlife that they have going on. I expect these two to be the most popular ones to be voted on. I wouldn't be surprised for Made in Abyss because I have seen some stuff and it looks visually stunning, but it's just not something I've seen. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bocchi the Rock also gets a lot of votes for this. Next, in terms of best soundtrack, to me, it's simple. I think it's Call of the Night. Call of the Night had an amazing OP, the best ED of the year, in my opinion, and some of the best just songs within the OST. And to be honest, none of these others really stood out to me as ones that I remember, and there's nothing that's not on this list that I really remember. The only like OST that really stood out to me, I was like, wow, every time, was Call of the Night. But I think I'm going to end up going Chainsaw Man as my second option here. Chainsaw Man definitely had some music that got me fully immersed in the show, which I think was all this award is really looking for. On top of a kick-ass OP and 12 different EDs, I think that makes perfect sense for the next vote. I think the other ones that'll get an option, I think Demon Slayer will get a lot of votes. Same thing with Bocchi the Rock. I think this one will actually be very close, and a lot of different ones will get votes. If I remember correct, I'm pretty sure Made in Abyss also has been praised over the years for having such a good soundtrack, so I can really see this going anyway, but to me, Call of the Night was the one that really stood out. The next award is for Best in Voice Cast, and this is another award where I'm not exactly sure what exactly we're looking for. To me, I just interpret it as the cast that really brought the characters alive the best. And whereas there's some situations here where, like Bocchi the Rock, where I feel the VA of Bocchi did an excellent job. I don't know if any of the other mains were like very noticeable to me or very stand out to me. And the same thing with like Spy Family, where I feel like Anya's VA does an excellent job of really bringing her out. I don't know if I really feel the same with the others. To me, the one that just really stands out is Love is War. I think all the characters within there really bring their own character to life and make them feel different and special and unique. And then next, it's a bit more of a basic safe pick, but Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. I think everyone realistically in that show just brings everything that they have to the table and makes for something just really special. I honestly don't know at all who people are going to vote for these awards. I would assume these two that I picked, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the others get more votes. I don't know. Next is for Best in Episode Directing and Storyboard. So this is specifically for certain episodes. I don't know what episode of Love is War that is. I really can't tell. To me, the best episode overall this year was Cyberpunk Edge Runners episode 6. That's the one that constantly replays in my mind and I'm always thinking about. And I think that one was so special. And I'm a bit disappointed to not see that on here. But that being said, if I have to pick another two that really stand out to me, it'd be episode 5 of Spy Family, which is the episode in which they all went to the castle and had that whole thing going on, which was really special and apparently was, for the most part, anime original. And episode 8 of Bocchi the Rock. I think these two just really do stand out of everything that's on here. A couple of the other ones I do think stand out a lot, actually, are My Dress Up Darling episode 8 and Chainsaw Man episode 8. I think both of those are very memorable to me as well. I wish I did know what episode of Love is War that was. Episode 4 of Licorice Recoil was good and unique, but it wasn't anything overly crazy in my opinion. And I think there's 2 or 3 episodes of season 3 of Mob Psycho I liked more, thought were just better than episode 8. The Aspect Awards are now done, and now we'll move on to the top anime awards. With this, I only get one pick instead of the 2 that we had before, and this is for my anime of the year. I've seen everything that is nominated on here outside of Shadow's House Season 2 and Ranking of Kings. With that being said, on my TikTok, I did post in order my rating and thoughts on basically every anime I watched this year. So you could view that for a more detailed list. But I'm going to go down one by one and kind of discuss shortly what I think of each of them. I thought Akebi Sailor Uniform was just alright. It was decent. Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2 was really good, but wasn't as good as Part 1, and still hasn't lived back up to what Season 3 did. Bocchi the Rock was incredible. Call of the Night was incredible. Chainsaw Man was very good, but I think it can do more, and I'm expecting more out of the future seasons. Classroom of the Elite Season 2, I still don't understand why it's so popular. It's not very good. Cyberpunk Edge Runners was very good for the first 6 episodes, in my opinion, but I absolutely despise the final 4, and I don't like it nearly as much as everyone else seems to. Entertainment District Arc for Demon Slayer was great and just pure hype the entire time, especially down the back end. Love is War Season 3 was special. Licorice Recoil is a lot higher on my list purely off of how much I enjoyed it versus the actual quality, because the story itself isn't that great, but the characters and their dynamic make it so enjoyable that I love it. Mob Psycho 100 had an amazing ending in my opinion, and I thought it was great. I'm loving The Witch from Mercury, but I think it has the capability of being better, a lot better than it is right now, and I think Core 2 will really show that next year, so it won't end up being that. Loved My Dress Up Darling a lot. That's also in my top 5 for this year. Have not seen Ranking of Kings or Shadow's House. Spy Family I absolutely love, and honestly may have been my anime of the year had Core 2 not come out. I love the show in its entirety, but Core 2 definitely weighed down everything that the first one did, which is a bit unfortunate. Summertime Rendering I thought was just good. There was interesting ideas, but it really failed to let me click or care for any of the characters, and it made a lot of the certain like emotional moments fall pretty flat for me. And Tomodachi Game is pretty good. I think it's what everyone thinks Classroom of the Elite actually is, despite how poorly animated it was. That being said, my anime of the year is Bocchi the Rock. I think it's truly special. I don't really know how else to describe it. That's how I keep describing it every time I talk about it. It's truly just something special. I absolutely love K-On! The second season of K-On! Is one of the, I think, either 5 or 6 anime I've ever given a 10 out of 10 to. And I think this show does something that hasn't been done since then and really gives it a run for its money. I think the first season of this is better than the first season of K-On! Was, and I hope we get a second one so I can really compare them in its entirety. I think all the characters are unique and special in their own way. I absolutely love Nijika, and I think someone like her is so important to have around Bochi. I think Bochi's VA really brings her character alive. I think some of the creative decisions and anime original decisions that they made are so good and special and just bring this show to life. And yeah, that would be my pick for anime of the year. Next is for anime movie of the year, and I've only seen 3 of these. I've seen a bit more, and I don't know when their cutoffs are, so I'm a bit confused as to why something like Quintessential Quintuplets movie or One Piece Film Red or Laid Back Camp movie aren't available on here, as they all did come out last year. So I don't know if they have like certain cutoffs or if it has to release in like the US or something, and I'm not sure of. Regardless, I'm not going to vote for this one. I've only seen 3 of them, and I don't think any of them were spectacular in the slightest. Those were being Bell, which I did not care for, Bubble, which was visually stunning, but the story itself wasn't very good, and Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which I did not really care for too much either, which I believe is a very unpopular opinion, but I just did not really care for it that much. So this one I'm actually just going to skip. In this next section, we're going to have voice acting awards. The first one will be for best voice acting performance from a male. I've seen about half of these, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't think most of these have any standout moments to me. I don't think his performance as Ayano Koji was special in the slightest. I really don't. I don't think the performance of Lloyd is very special either. I don't think the performance of Mob's very special, or Shinpei was special, or Ichigo's special, or I don't know. I haven't seen Ranking of Kings, have not seen Sasaki Miyano. Izumi and Shikamori was god-awful, and Rangha's song in Love of Kill was just nothing special to me either. The only one that really comes off as, like, I thought they brought actual, like, real personality to their character was Seto Gen, who played Ko from Call of the Night. So that's going to be my vote. I don't really know outside of this. There wasn't anybody that I can really recall where I'm like, wow, that had such a standout performance this year. That person is what really drew me into the show, and I thought they did such an excellent job, at least from the male side of things. So this is going to be my vote for this, and honestly, I don't even know who people would vote for this, and I'm assuming other people will. And this is one where I truly don't really care who wins, because none of these really made a big impact on me. On the female side of things, I think there are some on here that have really good performances and ones that I can stand out. I will say I am disappointed, though. I think for me, my vote would be for Ri Takahashi and how she performed and how she played Anzu from Romantic Killer. I think that performance was spectacular and was so much stronger than everybody that's listed on here. So I am a bit disappointed that that's not on here. With that being said, though, I do think there are some strong performances with Nazuna, Chisato, Soletta, Kaguya, Anya, Daki, and Marin. I think are all spectacular performances. I don't understand why Makima was voted. She's not very special. And Shikamori as well. Absolutely not. Anyone who knows me knows I absolutely love Kaguya, and I think Kokooi does such a special job of playing her. But I think this year I'm going to actually just go with Daki from Demon Slayer. I think Sawashiro Miyuki's performance was so special. She was able to do so much with Daki and really go crazy. I think the guy who played Daki's brother, I'm not remembering his name right now, is actually a performance, now that I think about it, that really would have stood out for voice acting performance of male for me, and probably would have got my vote as well. Which is a bit unfortunate that he wasn't even nominated for that, but is what it is. And I think the performance as Daki was actually special. She had such, like, the shrieks that she would do, and she would get such a high-pitched voice, but she could also go so low and be so aggressive and cold, and it was actually memorable for me. Next up, we have character awards. We get 2 votes again, and the first one will be for Boy of the Year. I don't really know exactly what we're voting on for this. I guess who I like the most out of all these characters is really what I'm gonna do. And the two that I absolutely love compared to all the other ones are Gojo from My Dress Up Darling and Lloyd from Spy Family. One of my first impressions that I had after watching the first few episodes of My Dress Up Darling was how likable I felt Gojo was, and how much I actually like enjoyed his character, and how he's somebody that I would want to be like friends with if he was real. And I just like Lloyd a lot. I think he's cool as hell. I think he's constantly lying to himself. He doesn't even realize it and goes out of his way to do what's right for the most part. I mean, I think he's just a great character and very enjoyable. For Girl of the Year, there's a ton of choices here, and I absolutely have no idea how I'm going to make this. For me, though, I think first one has to go to Marin. Marin is such a special person. She isn't afraid to hide who she is or afraid to hide the things that she likes, but she's not afraid to call out bullshit on other people. Like in the first episode when people were trying to make Gojo do things that he probably shouldn't have to and take advantage of him. She wasn't afraid to introduce Gojo as her friend to her friends. She's not afraid of being around him or being seen with him. She's not afraid of hiding her interest, how she likes to walk around with things from different games and animes that she likes. She's very glamorous and showy on the outside, but that's just exactly who she is. It's not like she's just putting that on as like a fake or a front like for other people. That's truly just who she is. She's extremely nice and cares about others and doesn't try and put herself first, and she isn't afraid to apologize or call out things when she does things wrong. Like the episode when she didn't know how long things took for Gojo to make his costume or make her outfit. And she constantly kept apologizing and broke down in tears because she saw how hard he was working and that she didn't even pay any attention to it. And she's just a very special person. And my second vote, which is probably going to be a bit unpopular, is the girl who ended up winning the wildcard vote to finally get in here is Nijika from Bocchi the Rock. I absolutely love this girl. She is so special and so important into Bocchi's development. She doesn't have anything tragic or bad going on in her life, but she has a greater goal of striving to be in a good band, but also putting the club that they play at and they work at it to be something special just because she's looking out and she cares for her sister. She wants to make other people's dreams come true, but she wants other people to enjoy the things that she likes, and she wants to just share all of these experiences with her friends. One of the lines that I constantly sticks out in my head is from, I think, the second episode of the show where Bocchi's talking to her and asking her why she's being so nice to her. And she just brings up the fact that she wants Bocchi to enjoy the things that she likes, because if she does, that makes the memories that she has of this day and this place even more special to her. That somebody that's special to her like Bocchi will actually enjoy the things that she also enjoys, and she can look back on these memories as good times with each other. And it's just something like that. She's literally a light. Like, she's like sunshine. I don't know how else to describe it. She's truly just the good person and doesn't push Bocchi to go too far to do anything. And she's always, worried about her, but trying to be inclusive. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about her. I absolutely love Nijika. I can see a lot of other people winning this. Yor, Anya, Chisato, Power, Bocchi especially. I can really see any of these, and honestly I don't know if Nijika's not even going to put up a good fight, I don't think, but I think that Marin has a chance to win this. And I absolutely love Kaguya, but maybe it's like a voter fatigue where all these other people are popping up and Kaguya is no longer like the new fresh face and I don't want to pick her, so I don't know. But I think if this was like any other year, I probably would have picked Kaguya here. For coupleship of the year, why they only give me one option, I am pissed. I don't know. There's so many I want to vote for. Specifically, the ones I love are Chisato and Takina, Lloyd and Yor, Marin and Gojo, and Ko and Nazuna. But I think if I can only give one, I have to go Gojo and Marin. They had such a special and genuine connection to each other that I just don't know if there's anything else I really want to put over it. Chisato and Takina make a very close second for me, though. Their dynamic was special. I think Marin and Gojo are going to win this. And I think David and Lucy might make a second close guess because for some reason people like them. I still don't understand that. Anyways, they only give me one choice, so that's what we're going with. For supporting boy of the year, I get two choices, and I honestly don't care for almost any of these. I love Hanazawa from Mob Psycho. I always have loved this character, so he's getting my vote regardless. And I don't care for any of these. I don't like any of these characters that much on here, so I guess if I have to, I'll go Tengen from Demon Slayer. I don't really want to talk about it much. Supporting girl, I have zero idea why Kay from Classroom of the Elite is on here as well, as she got nominated for Girl of the Year, so I don't know why she's also here for supporting. Makes zero sense to me. There's some characters I actually liked a lot on here. Juju from My Dress Up Darling, Kurumi from Licorice Recoil, Hizuru from Summertime Rendering, but I think I'm going to end up going Hayasaka here. I think Hayasaka had such a special development in Season 3. And she's also just such a good pillar of support for somebody like Kaguya to really push her in the right direction. And actually, looks like I get two votes. So I guess we'll go Hiro, I don't even remember how to say her name, from Bocchi the Rock. Her connection to Bocchi and really attempts to break Bocchi out of her shell was good to me, and I like them a lot. And she was a very just unique and fun character who can get a little wild and is like the definition of like somebody that Bocchi isn't, but she has a good heart and wants to support Bocchi like as much as she can, and I really like that. Next up, we move into the genre awards, where the first one will be for action or adventure anime of the year. I get 2 votes for this, and I'm just going to strictly base these off of my ratings and how much I enjoyed them on my year-end list, which will put Licorice Recoil and the Entertainment District arc for Demon Slayer as my 2 votes. I think specifically, if you were looking for what's the best action out of all of these, what has the best action, I can easily select something else, but I'm not exactly sure if that's what I'm supposed to be doing here, or if it's literally just my favorite anime out of that fits into these genres, so that's what I'm gonna pick. In terms of comedy anime, there's 2 votes, and there's only 2 correct answers, being Bocchi the Rock and Love is War Season 3. Actually, I guess you could put Spy Family in there, but I'm going to opt for these 2 instead. And I think these 2 and Spy Family are the top 3, and that's how voting's going to end. And I think one of these is going to win, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Bocchi the Rock. For drama anime of the year, I'm just once again going to go by my rankings, and I'm going to go Licorice Recoil and Chainsaw Man. I think this one I can make a bit more of an argument for specifically just picking which one has the better drama, where I guess in that situation, out of the ones I've seen, I would end up going Witch from Mercury or something like Raven of the Inner Palace, but I'm just going to go with these 2. For fantasy, I actually haven't seen a lot of these, but from the ones that I did see, if I just go by my rankings again, we're going to go with Trapped in the Dating Sim and Raven of the Inner Palace. I think these 2 are the most standout ones for me of the fantasy ones I've seen, and I'm assuming I probably would have picked Ranking of Kings had I seen it, but I still have not watched it. I'm also making a guess that that's going to win this award. Specifically for music anime of the year, Bocchi the Rock is going to get my first vote. It's not even going to be close. Unfortunately, I have not seen Love Live Superstar Season 2. I absolutely love Season 1, but just have not gotten around to watching Season 2. And Niji Osaki Season 2 was a letdown, in my opinion, compared to what Season 1 did. So that won't be getting my vote as well. The only other music one that I have seen, which I did enjoy a lot, is your boy Kung Ming. So that will be getting the second vote from me. Mystery or psychological anime of the year. I have seen 4 of these: Classroom of the Elite, Cyberpunk, Summertime Rendering, and Tomodachi Game. Classroom of the Elite does not even qualify for either of these categories, in my opinion. I don't care for it, which leaves Cyberpunk, Summertime Rendering, and Tomodachi Game. I think Cyberpunk and Tomodachi do a good job of psychological, and Tomodachi also does a decent job of having some sort of mystery, but not too much. But for the most part, psychological. Summertime Rendering is more on the mystery focused end, and they don't do literally anything regarding psychological, it feels like, which was the biggest letdown to me, which is I think why I love something like ReZero so much, is because it has mystery involved, but also is heavy on the psychological end, where Summertime Rendering did not do that. So my 2 votes for this will be going to Cyberpunk Edge Runners and Tomodachi Game. I'm expecting Classroom of the Elite or Summertime Rendering to put up a fight and probably win this, but I'm actually pulling really hard for Cyberpunk here, surprisingly. As someone whose favorite genre is romance, this is a tough award, as I have seen almost everything on here. I have not seen Tagaki-san Season 3, so I can't vouch for that. I loved all of these a lot. Strictly based on romance, it changes and it differs. But I'm once again just going to stick to my rankings because I have to stay consistent in my voting, and that's going to be Love is War Season 3 and My Dress Up Darling. In terms of like actual romance and like development, I think the votes should probably go to like More Than a Married Couple and Love After World domination. Because I don't know if you can count like the actual developments that occur like in My Dress Up Darling, because there really isn't actually any. And Love is War, because all it does is just build up towards what the last episode did. That's really it. It's not like there was actual romance throughout the rest, but we're gonna just stick to the rankings and go with those. Sci-fi or Mecha Anime of the Year get 2 votes again. I have only seen 2 of these, and those will be getting my votes. Witch from Mercury, which I think is the one that deserves to win this, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which is the one I believe will win this. Another category dear to my heart, Slice of Life Anime. I have seen everything on here except for Do It Yourself and Komi Can't Communicate Season 2, which I wouldn't be voting for regardless because I hated Season 1. Sticking to my guns and strictly going by rating here, Bocchi the Rock and Spy Family are the 2 votes for this. Bocchi the Rock should win this pretty handily in my opinion. It's better than all of them on here. I think Spy Family and Dress Up Darling give it a close run, and those are going to be the only 3 that even have a shot at winning this in my opinion. I would love to see Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting or Daemon as votes, because I thought those 2 were really good as well. And I loved Ayumu a lot as well. So hopefully some people out there give them some representation. But I think that the first 3 I mentioned should probably be the only ones who get votes. Sports Anime of the Year, I have seen 0 of these, so I will not be voting for any of them. Not very big on the sports anime. The only one that I have watched this year was Blue Lock, and that's not on here because I believe they carry it over into the next year now, so that's not even one I'm going to consider. Supernatural Anime of the Year, sticking to our guns and going by order, Call of the Night, Demon Slayer. I think Chainsaw Man, Mob Psycho, or Demon Slayer will win this award. I pray to God it's not Bleach. I cannot understand the appeal to that still. And I love Call of the Night, so I hope it's that. Lastly, we get 2 votes for the theme song categories, and this is for the opening theme song of the year. If you have seen my list or know anything about me, my favorite 2 opening songs this year were Rumbling, which I have at number 1, and Kickback, which I have at number 2. So those 2 will be getting my votes. And I do believe one of those 2 are actually going to win. I do think that they'll finish 1 and 2. Number 3, I have this one from Mobile Suit Gundam. So I'd be okay if that one got some votes. I have Mixed Nuts, I think, at 5, so I'd be happy if that got some votes, and Chicka Chicka Bam Bam at 4. So all of those that I loved a lot are nominated on here. I think actually most of my top 10 is on here, so I'd be okay with that. Ending theme song of the year is where it gets a little different. I think ending songs tend to be a little bit more weird in what you choose, and the order that I have them in is like kind of weird, but one of them stood out well more than any of the other ones, and I think is better than the opening songs for most of them in my opinion, and that will be Call of the Night, and the song that actually inspired the anime. At number 2, we're going to go with Comedy from Spy Family. Off the top of my head, I actually cannot remember what I had as my next couple ones, but I don't think it was any of the ones on here. And I think I had this one at 4, so it's close enough. I do like the ED for Licorice Recoil a lot as well, as the one from Demon Slayer and the one from My Dress Up Darling. So those are all valid options in my opinion, and I would pray that one of them win. And with that being done, that'll be all the awards for the Anime A Trending Awards. Let me know down below the things that you'll be voting for. Will you be watching the award show? Is there one specific show that you're really pulling for? Specifically, let me know your anime of the year. I would like to know that a lot. Maybe give me a list as well if you have one. I'm pulling very hard for Bocchi the Rock to win a lot of awards. That's all I can really say. I'm pulling very hard for Nijiko to win Girl of the Year, which will not happen because she got in on a wildcard voting, so I doubt that would occur. I'm rooting very strongly against Shikamori winning any awards and Bleach winning any awards, so if you have anything that you're rooting against, let me know. Appreciate you joining me today. I'll probably be back and do another one of these when the Crunchyroll nominations for their award show get released, which will be a lot shorter of a video probably, or it might just be a longer one about me ranting. I'm going to be back this next week with reactions. Tokyo Revengers will start this weekend, I believe, and Vinland Saga Season 2, which I am beyond excited about, early next week. Be sure to look out for those. Hopefully I see you guys back for then. Peace.